Hey guys, it's your scrub here, Density again here today. This is yet another video that's going to be delivered quick as possible to you guys to do the Rune Temple, or known as Nutaman. This guide will also cover a bit of the pre-boss phase, which will get you to take down monsters to further progress in the dungeon. I'll be posting timestamps in the video below if you're already comfortable with the monsters in the pathway phase. And please bear in mind that I'll try to do my best to cover most of the important parts of the dungeon and the boss itself as well. I may miss a few things here and there, and I apologize for that, but I'm certain it will be enough for you guys to do this dungeon alone itself. Of course, with people, obviously. And another heads up is that having 3.2k attack is actually fairly good, I think. The higher the better, which allows you to beat up the mobs and the dungeon boss itself with less struggle. Okay, so rolling into this little short clip, you basically want to split your team into 3 pathways, 1 DPS on each side, and have maybe a priest with you in the middle. The idea is you just want to try to take out the mobs as fast as possible, most specifically Pastar and Rostar. So right now, as you can see, Pastar is hitting me or striking me. They do hit quite heavy and push you back. Rostar himself, which we'll see a little bit later in the clip, will basically have a laser animation. So when he does this laser animation, it will hit for a very heavy amount of damage, so 600 damage per tick approximately. And of course, you can see here you want to take out rune totems as well. So if you don't take out the rune totems, your teammates won't be able to progress because they might get stunned or they might be able to jump past it, but you want to get that out so they can safely proceed. Showing another short clip of the boss star's animation if you look at the top left and right. Moving into the second boss pre-phase. So similar idea, now you're with your other partner who's on the other side, so you want to split into 2 pathways. Do not stick together on one pathway as you guys will get stuck in the dungeon. And just pretty much knock out the mobs, that's all you need to do. Moving into the third part of the dungeon, similar idea, you just want to take out the monsters, except there's one key thing here you want to keep note of, the lasers of course, and where boss tar will spawn. So there will be a random boss tar at the bottom side of the minimap that's approaching us right now. If you look at it, I can try and point it out, and so you want to also try to knock him out. Okay, final stage before the boss. So you basically want to have 2 teammates split up again, take out these little hui monsters, and you'll see 2 jars on both sides, so you want to help the teammate up above on the next lane over, toss the jar onto the last tar, the green giant dude, after wiping out these mobs. This will help, as you can see, stun the monster, and then your teammate can just pretty much DPS the monster up to death. Heading into the boss phase. This boss is going to be tricky to explain, but I'll try to be as simple and concise for you guys. Nutaman will have 3 elements that he can attune to, which are lightning, fire, and ice. Now, he'll have several side attacks which are based on as to where you're positioned. On the left, you'll get hit by the sword that swings left and right, and if you're on the right, I think he'll just go about using elemental AoEs. To name a few other basic attacks, which are his Dark Mist Spray, a variation of elemental attacks. One type will be projectile based that will tag you, and another will be a ground marker underneath you that will hit you from beneath. He'll only go about juggling between the 2 elemental attacks with different attunement. In this part of the video, you'll see the projectile hit my teammates, and 2 of them will be marked with the fire. And anytime you see the circle around you or your teammates, you want to try to spread out and not stack. Of course, in this video, my teammates are taking onto each other just for fun and fooling around. Going forward, a few side effects of the attacks will depend on what you get hit by. If you get hit by the Dark Mist Spray, you'll see a potion effectiveness debuff that reduces its recovery by 40%, so you'll end up healing less for potting, and having a priest is essential to compensate for the debuff. From the fire, there will be burn stacks that can increase up to 5-fold, or 10-fold, sorry, and do as much as 500 damage per tick. From the lightning, it will basically electrocute you and interrupt you by either a few seconds stun or make your character twitch. And you can also see in this part of the video where the lightning bolt drops down onto your character, so again, spread out, don't stick onto each other. From the ice attunement, it will slow you down and be very painful. There will also be an ice bomb as well, and an icicle drop that can potentially freeze you. As for the overall fight, spreading out, as I may have repeated this a few times, will be your biggest game changer to win the fight. Last of all parts in this video will be the skills that I want to show you that is possibly a big impact. I've posted a group of pictures like I did before in another video. So to start off, skill number 1 on the left is Normal Tornado, skill number 2 on the right is Sword Ground Stab, and then on the bottom is skill number 3, which is the Inevitable Tornado. Starting off with skill number 1 is his basic normal Tornado, which will pull you in and do damage over time, and that he can also go about mixing elements into this tornado to punish the player more. Skill number 2 is going to be his ground sword stab. He'll do this basically at approximately 30% of his HP near the end of his death. The sword will be empowered with a random element and attack spout from there. However, the player must pay attention to the boss battle, because once he pulls the sword out and turns black, he will do a double sword swipe and drop his sword back in again. You can basically dodge it by going into the little hole that opens up and wait for the 2 swipes to go through and then hop out to not take any damage. Going into number 3 is his inevitable tornado. The tornado itself will pull everyone in the party together, 3 will be suction cuffed with his hands, and 1 player will remain unaffected. Although what needs to be done by the unaffected player or the survivor is that he needs to hop onto the 3rd platform, DPS the head, and go about watching for his hand animation. So you can move to the left and survive, or if you don't, you die. And please bear in mind, if you don't do this or get up to the top of the 3rd platform, the whole party will wipe. So I think that wraps up everything in the video, guys, that needs to be mentioned. I know this boss has a lot of information that needs to be taken in, but I'm certain that you guys will get used to it and may want to try to coordinate with your teammates to try and finish the boss. Once more, if you guys liked the video, please hit thumbs up and subscribe. I will try to push out more content for you guys with the little time I have. Thanks again.